Have you ever felt a pull towards solitude, as though the crowds and noise of the world are too much for you? Perhaps, despite your desire for connection, there's a part of you that feels you are meant to walk a different path, one that requires space, silence, and reflection. If so, you might be one of the chosen ones. Chosen ones are set apart, not for their own sake, but for a divine purpose. And yet, this separation can be both a blessing and a burden. If you're watching this video, perhaps you've felt the weight of this calling, and you've asked yourself why it seems so hard to connect with others, or why you feel the need to retreat into solitude. The answer might lie in your spiritual journey, one that not everyone will understand. In this video, we'll dive deep into why the chosen ones, despite their great purpose, often find themselves walking alone. We'll explore their energy, their spiritual battles, and the profound reasons behind their need for solitude. If you're one of them, stay with me until the end, because there's a message here that might just help you understand your journey. The weight of spiritual responsibility. To understand why chosen ones cannot be around a lot of people, we must first look at the spiritual weight they carry. Being chosen doesn't mean being above others, but rather being called to a higher purpose. This purpose is often misunderstood by those around them, because it exists on a spiritual level that not everyone can perceive. One of the greatest examples of this is Jesus Christ. From the beginning of his ministry, Jesus was aware of the divine mission placed on his shoulders. He was to bear the weight of humanity's sins, to be the light of the world. But with this great responsibility came periods of isolation. In Luke 5:16 it says, "But Jesus often withdrew to lonely places and prayed." Jesus understood the importance of solitude. It wasn't just a retreat from the physical world, but a necessary practice to reconnect with the Father. He had to renew his spirit, find guidance, and gather strength for the challenges ahead. For chosen ones, this need for solitude is vital. They are often carrying burdens that others cannot see or understand. They are wrestling with questions, seeking answers, and aligning themselves with their spiritual mission. Chosen ones must protect their energy. They are often more sensitive to the spiritual realm, and this sensitivity requires time alone to recharge and refocus. Being around too many people can dilute their focus, drain their energy, and pull them away from their divine calling. 2. The intensity of their energy. Chosen ones have a unique energy that others can sense, even if they don't fully understand it. This energy is not just charisma or charm. It is a deeper, spiritual intensity that comes from their connection to divine purpose. When they walk into a room, people feel it. The atmosphere shifts. Some are drawn to it, while others may feel uncomfortable or even threatened by it. Why is this? The energy that chosen ones carry often acts as a mirror. It reflects back the hidden truths, fears, and insecurities of those around them. For some, this can be liberating, but for others, it can be deeply unsettling. When Jesus walked among the crowds, he often revealed the true nature of people's hearts. He did this not by force, but by his mere presence. In Mark 2:8, it says that Jesus knew in his spirit what people were thinking. He could see their innermost thoughts, and this ability to discern truths made people either drawn to him or defensive against him. Chosen ones often experience this same dynamic. Their presence can make people uncomfortable, not because they are doing anything wrong, but because their energy exposes things others may not want to confront. This can lead to tension in relationships, misunderstandings, or even outright rejection. It's not uncommon for chosen ones to feel like outsiders, even among friends or family. They are often perceived as different, not because of what they say or do, but because of the depth of their presence. This intensity can be overwhelming for others, leading to isolation for the chosen ones. It's not that they don't want connection, they do, but their energy is such that not everyone can handle it. 3. Jesus and his solitude. One of the most profound examples of solitude in the Bible is found in the life of Jesus. Despite being surrounded by multitudes of people, Jesus frequently sought out solitude. This wasn't because he didn't love the people he served. It was quite the opposite. He withdrew because he understood the need for spiritual renewal, for quiet time with God. In Matthew 14:23, we read, "After he had dismissed the crowds, he went up on a mountainside by himself to pray. When evening came, he was there alone." This passage is significant because it shows us that even Jesus, the Son of God, needed time away from the noise, the demands, and the expectations of others. Jesus was fully human and fully divine, and his humanity required rest, reflection, and communion with the Father. His moments of solitude were not just times of rest, but times of preparation. He knew that to carry out his mission, he needed to stay connected to God's will. For the chosen ones, solitude serves the same purpose. They may not be carrying the sins of the world, but they are carrying the weight of their own divine calling. Their solitude is not a sign of weakness or social withdrawal. It is a necessary part of their spiritual journey. Just as Jesus retreated to pray and recharge, chosen ones must also step back from the world to realign themselves with their purpose. This is why you often see chosen ones distancing themselves from large crowds or avoiding overly social situations. It's not because they don't care, it's because they are deeply aware of the need to protect their spiritual energy and stay focused on their path. 4. The challenge of authentic connection. One of the biggest struggles chosen ones face is the difficulty in forming authentic connections. They crave depth, meaning, and truth in their relationships. But in a world that often values surface-level interactions, this can be a lonely quest. The chosen ones are not interested in shallow conversations or fleeting friendships. They seek connections that resonate with their soul. But these types of connections are rare. Many people are not ready for the intensity that chosen ones bring into relationships. They may be drawn to their light, but when faced with the depth of their presence, they may retreat. It's not uncommon for chosen ones to feel misunderstood or even rejected by those they care about. In John 6:66, after Jesus gave a difficult teaching, it says, "From this time, many of his disciples turned back and no longer followed him." Even Jesus experienced rejection from those who were once close to him. His teachings, his way of life, and his purpose were too much for some to handle. And this is often the case for chosen ones. Their desire for authentic connection can leave them feeling isolated when others are not willing or able to meet them on the same level. But this isolation is not permanent. Chosen ones will find their tribe, people who understand them, who are willing to walk the deep and sometimes difficult path alongside them. But these connections take time to form. Until then, chosen ones must learn to be at peace with their own company, trusting that the right people will come into their lives when the time is right. 5. Protecting their energy. Chosen ones are highly sensitive to the energies around them. They can pick up on the emotions, thoughts, and even the unspoken intentions of others. This sensitivity is both a gift and a burden. It allows them to empathize deeply with others, to understand their struggles, and to offer guidance. But it also means they can easily become overwhelmed, especially in large groups or chaotic environments. In Mark 5:30, after a woman touched the hem of Jesus' garment, it says, "At once Jesus realized that power had gone out from him." This passage shows us that spiritual energy is real and that it can be drained in certain situations. For chosen ones, every interaction has an energetic cost. Being around too many people, especially those who are negative or draining, can leave them feeling depleted. This is why chosen ones often limit their social interactions. They are not being antisocial or avoiding others. They are simply protecting their energy. They know that in order to fulfill their purpose, they must be mindful of where and how they invest their time and energy. For chosen ones, it's important to create boundaries, to say no when necessary, and to prioritize time for self-care and spiritual renewal. This might mean declining invitations, stepping away from social media, or spending more time in nature or in meditation. Whatever form it takes, protecting their energy is essential for maintaining their spiritual health and staying aligned with their purpose. 6. Spiritual warfare and the chosen ones. Chosen ones are often engaged in a form of spiritual warfare that others may not even realize. Their very presence, their light, is a threat to the forces of darkness. This is not something to fear, but it is something to be aware of. When you carry a divine purpose, there will be forces that try to derail you, to distract you, or to pull you off course. Ephesians 6:12 tells us, "For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms." Chosen ones are often targets for these spiritual attacks because of the impact they are meant to have on the world. This warfare can take many forms. It might show up as conflict in relationships, unexpected challenges, or even a sense of doubt and discouragement. Chosen ones must be vigilant, not just in their physical actions, but in their spiritual practices. Prayer, meditation, and staying connected to their spiritual source are essential tools for navigating this battle. It's important for chosen ones to recognize that their isolation is not just a matter of personal preference, it is often a form of protection. By stepping away from the chaos of the world, they are better able to hear the guidance of the Holy Spirit and to fortify themselves against the spiritual forces that seek to undermine them. 7. The call to higher purpose. Perhaps the most significant reason why chosen ones cannot be around a lot of people is because they are called to a higher purpose. This calling demands focus, dedication, and a level of spiritual discipline that not everyone will understand. To walk this path requires a certain level of solitude, not just physically, but spiritually. In Matthew 7:13-14, Jesus said, "Enter through the narrow gate. For wide is the gate, and broad is the road that leads to destruction, and many enter through it. But small is the gate, and narrow the road that leads to life, and only a few find it." The path of the chosen ones is the narrow road. It is not crowded, and it is not easy, but it is the road that leads to fulfilling their divine mission. The chosen ones are here to make a difference, to be a light in the darkness. But to do this, they must remain aligned with their purpose. This often means saying no to distractions, to superficial relationships, and to anything that pulls them away from their calling. It is a path that requires sacrifice, but it is also a path that leads to the fulfillment of their soul's mission. Chosen ones are not meant to blend in with the crowd. They are meant to stand out, to walk a different path, and to bring something unique to the world. This calling is sacred, and it demands their full attention. 8. Embracing solitude as a gift. While the solitude of chosen ones can feel like a burden at times, It is also a gift. In the quiet spaces of life, chosen ones have the opportunity to go deeper, to discover the truths that others may miss in the noise of the world. Solitude allows them to listen to their inner guidance, to connect with God on a profound level, and to receive the insights they need for their journey. Jesus often used his time in solitude to pray and to seek guidance from the Father. In Luke 6:12, we read, "One of those days, Jesus went out to a mountainside to pray and spent the night praying to God." This extended time in prayer was not just for rest, it was preparation for what was to come. For chosen ones, solitude is not just a retreat, it is a place of empowerment. It is in these quiet moments that they receive the strength, wisdom, and clarity they need to continue their journey. Instead of seeing solitude as a burden, chosen ones can learn to embrace it as a time of spiritual renewal and growth. The world may not always understand the need for solitude, but for chosen ones, it is an essential part of their spiritual path. It is in these moments that they are most connected to their divine purpose and to the guidance that will lead them forward. The power of walking alone. As we conclude this exploration into why chosen ones cannot be around a lot of people, it's important to remember that walking a path of solitude is not a sign of weakness or failure. It is a reflection of the unique calling that has been placed on their lives. Chosen ones are not meant to follow the crowd. They are called to a higher purpose, one that requires focus, dedication, and a deep connection to their spiritual source. While the world may not always understand their need for solitude, chosen ones know that it is in the quiet spaces that they find their strength. If you've resonated with this message, if you've ever felt like the world is too loud or too crowded for your soul, know that you are not alone. You are one of the chosen ones, and your path, while different, is sacred. Embrace your solitude, protect your energy, and stay focused on the purpose that has been placed on your life. The journey of the chosen ones is not easy, but it is meaningful. It is a path of growth, transformation, and ultimately, divine fulfillment. So keep walking, keep trusting, and remember that your solitude is not a burden, it is a gift. Thank you for watching, and if this message has spoken to you, please like, share, and subscribe for more content like this. Let's continue this journey together.